a Big Spark Studios original.
We're going live.
We're live.
Good. We're live.
The licking of the bottle was live.
Oh, good. The licking of the bottle.
Somehow appropriate.
So, hey, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to Unhinged with Chris Klemens. Today, we are joined by the effervescent mother of me, Angela. Mom, you have to talk on a podcast. My mom literally should not have had 2 margaritas at lunch because she does not understand that she has to not only be a pretty face, but she has to be a pretty voice as well.
And I was in the car telling a joke, laughing so hard I thought I was going to choke, and then
she started sobbing. We were in the car. We went down to the beaches area just to look at some things. And we went at this Mexican place for lunch. And my mom got 2 of maybe the largest margaritas I've ever seen in my life. And 30 minutes after we left, she is giggling to herself. And I look over, and then she is just sobbing into her hands.
That is true. So I'm not really sure about speaking right now. I'm
we can tell.
Going into caffeine. So
I swear to God, every day that passes on this earth, I realize that you are truly my mother. There is no way I could be adopted.
Yeah.
Anyways, the reason my mom is on today's podcast episode is because we are freshly back from the continent of Antarctica, which is honestly comical to say out loud because I just never actually thought that that would be something I would do in my lifetime, let alone being Forbes 30 under 30, just minus the Forbes. I'm just under 30. We were gone for 2 weeks. Oh, now you're looking at me like I can't talk, please. I mean, God. Anyways, I should say before we get into the episode, we are going to be talking about our whole Antarctica trip and journey and rite of passage, etc. But
probably not in a linear fashion.
No, I mean,
probably
that's a guaranteed here at Unhinged. But be sure to subscribe to Unhinged with Chris Klemens wherever you get your podcast, as well as rate and review each episode after you listen to it. And if you like video episodes, you can go to youtube.com/Chris, where we upload those as well. So you can just truly see the double chin I have acquired from 24-hour room service.
5-star Michelin chef.
Yeah, and unlimited drinking.
Open bar, yep.
Yeah. It's not great, but listen, there was a gym on board. Did I use it? Yeah.
It was closed during the Drake's Passage.
But it was open when I was trying to make a call, and that was the only time I stepped foot into the gym, was me scouring the boat so I could do a callback audition. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, a lot of this, we're going to try and give Justin as many visuals as possible, but because I took over 3,000 photos and I have over 200 gigabytes of footage, there's a hot chance that Justin might not get as much of it as you would want. So be sure to stay tuned for the vlog that's going to be coming out on my channel. It might be a few vlogs because, again, I have literally 200 gigabytes of footage. And then also on my patreon.com/Chris Klemens, I'm going to be doing a ton of photo dumps and everything like that, so you guys can get the full experience. So if you're hoping to see a ton of penguins and whales, you might be seeing them in this if you're watching this episode, but also stay tuned. But here you're going to get a lot of the down and dirty of the trip, whereas I don't know why in my vlog I took on the role of I'm an explorer discovering this continent. I was okay, now we're going on an expedition. Here we go. And it was very weirdly I was going to say Dora the Explorer, but I should think of maybe a more historical discoverer.
Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, I was on my Lewis and Clark shit. Exactly, Sam. Anyways, so how do we even start? Oh,
well, I'll just interject. If anyone is interested in where my photos will be shown, I'll be doing a slideshow at work.
Yes.
Sorry.
My mom's really proud of that joke.
It's actually not a joke. It's real. But
no, it's really, no,
we're very interested. We're very interested.
Live stream it. Let us join in.
Yeah,
I'll be doing.
We're doing that thing that when Do you remember when you're like a family member would come home from a trip or whatever, like a work trip, and they'd be like, all right. And then you'd sit around for like 3 hours and look at every photo they took and hear every story behind the photo. Oh my God, I totally forgot that was something.
We're doing that next weekend with your brothers. So.
I know, but I forgot that was a thing because we've never really gone on a huge trip like this where it's like, guys, look what we saw.
You should get a slide projector. Like the ones that make like...
Exactly. And the sound.
And then it clicks. Yeah.
Clink,
oh my
clink.
God. Don't even play because I would be so into that. However, if we saw me setting up for this podcast episode, we know that really wouldn't end in anything but rage. Thank you, Mom, for the confirmation.
I didn't realize you had peripheral vision.
So we'll just give a background. Well, no, I'm staring at the screen that has you on it. I don't have peripheral vision. I guess we'll start with like the background of the story. And Jake, Sam, and Justin, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop in and interject at any point, as we are Antarctic experts now.
Yep.
Not at all. So the trip basically came
out. We need to say we took a quiz at the end, right? There was a trivia contest.
Okay, we'll get to that.
All
that
right.
was fucking bullshit.
We didn't do well.
Well, oh my God, it was like, how many species of penguin? Well, we got that question right, actually, so I probably shouldn't use that one. Anyways, the trip came about because my mom's alma mater, I was under the impression that, so a scientist from my mom's alma mater was going on this Antarctica trip, and I thought it was like a research trip that she was like, well, if I'm going, let's open it to alums of the school. So that's the thing I was under. That was the auspices. Is that a word? Look at me. I know. Someone said Chris is entering 2023 with a larger vocabulary. And I was like, well, joke's on you. That episode was filmed in 2022. But yeah, it was through my mom's school. And it turned out to just basically be like a luxury cruise, which makes sense for literally how gouged my bank account is, but worth every penny. So it was organized pretty much through my mom's alma mater. So we knew that there were going to be people from all grades and class years of my mom's school. So that's how we found out about the trip, is she got like some mailer about it. And then I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to go to Antarctica, because like the more difficult and like
expensive.
Well, all right, drag my ass like that. No, just the more like impossible things are, the more I want to do them. So Antarctica's always been on my like thing, but I never realized that it was actually doable. And so on December 27th, of 2022, we went to the airport to fly to Buenos Aires. And so basically we went to Buenos Aires, and then the next day we flew to
2 days later.
No, it was just a day later, because we landed and then the next day.
Oh, the next day. My bad.
Right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Day in Buenos Aires,
it's like crazy how distant this already feels, and we returned 48 hours ago. So we flew to Buenos Aires, and was there anything eventful on the flight? No.
I mean,
we missed. Yeah, we missed our. Yeah. That's so true. Wow, just the way I blocked Miami Airport straight up out of my brain. Nothing really happened in Miami Airport, except I got shit-faced next to like a playground that was inside, because I wanted to sleep on the flight from Miami to Buenos Aires. Yeah, that was nightmarish. So we made it to Buenos Aires, and we just kind of walked around that day. And mind you, it's summer there, so it was like 85 degrees, but we are going. A lot of people assumed going to Antarctica was going to be really cold, but it turned out to literally be the same temperature as winter here in Delaware, because the whole southern hemisphere. Plus wind chill. But yeah, okay, the wind was fucking cold at times. Yeah. But
yeah, so it was Philly winter to Buenos Aires summer, which was 85. So like 35 to 85, and then to Antarctica, which was on a good day 30.
50? Oh.
No, 30.
Oh.
You didn't listen in the morning or look at the TV screen?
No, Mom.
30.
I was barely awake in the morning.
Yeah. So then going from Antarctica to Buenos Aires was hard because it was.
Yeah, it just was like a confusing time.
Yeah, it was confusing.
So nothing really eventful happened while we were in Buenos Aires. We just kind of walked around, had like a cute little day.
Hi to our friend that we met.
Oh my God.
In the airport, and the friend in the bar. The hostess?
Yeah, the hostess. Guys, I have fans in Buenos Aires, bitch. Hola.
Hey.
I know. Isn't that... She was so
nice.
cute. I was like,
And our
hi.
2 friends in the airport.
I don't remember the 2 people.
The 2 Irish gals.
Oh my God. Yeah, they were cute.
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah, I'm popular.
Wait, they recognized you?
Yeah, it was, well, in the Philly airport, that wasn't as shocking, but there were like 2 Irish girls. And we just like were talking the whole time, and they had been longtime viewers. Oh my God. And we left on my 10th year of uploading my first video. So it was just like a really like eat, pray, love, eat your heart out moment. So yeah, we flew from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia, which is the southernmost
City in the world.
town in the world. Yeah, it's like not a city, but I guess maybe it is. And it's pretty much the vibe I got from it. I mean, when we landed out the window, it looked like the whole time it was such a mind fuck because I kept thinking we were in Europe, not South America. And this was my first time to South America, so I had never been there. That's what I was trying to say.
Definition of first time in South
Yeah, thank you so much, Mom, for humbling me.
Argentina does have a pretty strong Italian influence, though. Like some of the Spanish sounds a little bit almost like Italian Spanish. Yeah.
Very much so. Yep, we just learned all that. Yep.
Yeah, La Boca. See? We got a
yeah,
tour
that's
around
La Boca,
Buenos
yeah.
Aires. So the whole time I just kept thinking we were in Europe. So when Buenos Aires very much felt like Italy or France or just Spain. Like it just...
European.
Yeah, it felt
European.
very European. And so then when we went to Ushuaia, from the plane, we saw all of these mountains and just this little like... I mean,
Yes.
Google pictures or wait to look at my Patreon or YouTube because it is just such a gorgeous town. And from the airplane, it gave me like Switzerland vibes or something. So I was just so confused where the fuck we were. And like, I didn't really sleep on the whole flight. So like from Miami to Buenos Aires. So I was just pretty tired the whole time.
But we flew into Ushuaia and then pretty much were whisked right to the port and got on
The boat.
a boat, then our boat.
Oh
that
yeah, we took
catamaran,
yeah.
But we didn't really get to see the town. We did very much on the way back.
Yeah, and it was
Gorgeous.
it was
Loved it.
so cute and gorgeous, but it really just felt like an Antarctica gift shop because you couldn't really have gift shops in Antarctica, obviously. So I didn't get a good understanding of Ushuaia. But yeah, when we landed there first, it was like cloudy. It was just the most picturesque, like sunset. Oh my God, it was like we could have turned around there and come back home and I've been like, that was one of the most beautiful trips I've ever been on. But then, like my mom said, we got on a catamaran, which took us to the boat. And this was my first time like on a boat or like cruise. I have never been a cruise person due to the fact that, I mean, I don't want a buffet that is longer than 50 feet long. That is horrifying. With 5,000 people all in the same, no. Yeah. And then like water slide. So I've just never really understood cruises like ever. So we get there and we see these huge National Geographic boats. And I'm like, oh my God, is that the fucking size? Like, Mom, I can't do this. It was a 2-week excursion. And so we got up to the boat and I was like, oh, she's cute. She's cute. And then we walked inside and I was like, this bitch is I mean, it was...
Is what?
It was like serving...
Nah, it's not going to work.
No, it's like, ooh, sorry, Justin, you're doing so much bleeping. God bless you. But, you know, when like you're serving... It's
it was
like,
fine. We're not...
It was like elegant. It was like...
It was elegant.
It was like chic, elegant. Sing, you know, like...
Fine, perfect, but not the other part. So I'll pick up now because I'm afraid you're going to say that word again. It was like 120 guests.
150.
150 guests. So it was pretty finite. They call it, I think, a boutique expedition cruise.
It was an expedition cruise,
Yes.
which...
Yeah.
I mean, little did we realize that they were really putting the expedition in expedition cruise.
Yeah.
We knew going into it that we would be like on these little... Zodiac boats, like James Bond, Mission Impossible, like steering through the water. Like
I think
we
you
knew
have to
we were.
give Justin a picture of that. Because
We'll give Justin pictures,
no, I know that.
but
I'm looking for...
like it really was. So we went into it knowing that it wasn't like just like a full like we feed you
Eating
grapes
and
kind of.
drinking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like we did know that there would be 24-hour room service and open bar and all of that.
Open bar.
Justin to be dead.
Minor side rant. It was like an open bar, but like once again, the cruise was so expensive that I was sort of like, well, I have to drink a ton to feel like we're getting
You
our
gotta get your
value.
money's worth, dude.
Yeah, as if we didn't see like literally the most life-changing shit ever. But you know what I mean. So like calling it an open bar felt really stupid because I was like, well,
Is it?
yeah, my bank account's telling me it's very closed.
I mean, it's an open bar with plenty and plenty of ice.
Okay.
We haven't even gotten on the boat in the story. My mom was like, "Can I do this?" and shows a
It
video
was related to
from
before,
like
but
the
it's
last
okay.
day.
It's not.
Oh.
Okay.
So we get onto the boat, and there's 8 floors on this boat, and it was brand new. So it was like so chic, so. And when we got there, they separated my mom and I into like there was this big observational deck.
No, observation lounge.
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 No. That was the observation.
Oh, we were in the lounge.
We were in the lounge.
They were in the deck.
They were in
Yeah.
the deck.
Got it.
We in the club. We ride slow. We're doing things that the girls don't do.
Were you not stressed like being on a cruise ship, like sailing towards the land of icebergs?
No, I mean, I definitely called my mom the night before and was like, "Mom, I don't think I can go on this trip." Like,
Did you have a I'm the king of the world moment? Like on the bow?
No, I was on the bow a lot, but it was mostly because I was like literally jizzing over whales swimming down below.
Oh, I was thinking your Drake Passage moments, but we can get there.
Okay, so we had this trip booked well before Drake's Passage in Antarctica was such a fucking thing on TikTok and social media and
it's
stuff.
not, I don't do those. So it's just from my knowledge of Drake Passage. It's not from TikTok. So.
My knowledge of Drake Passage didn't
Is
come
from
from TikTok.
TikTok.
No, it didn't. I remembered it. I was the one who told you. I was like, "Mom, what? Drake's Passage is the most dangerous passage in like the world. Why are we doing this?"
So to prepare for it, I went to my doctor. Well, I asked the tour people because I'm historically not a great motion gal.
No,
So-
she can barely go to the grocery
when I was
store
a
without
kid,
getting
I've progressed
motions.
a little bit, but
A little.
a little. So I went to my doctor and got a prescription for those patches that you wear behind your ear, which I would say
I didn't know was a
at
thing.
least 50% of the people on the ship had done.
Yeah.
Chris in our family honestly is the motion okay guy. So
Okay,
like when-
I'm always stellar
like when
in
we went to
motion.
Disney, like the whole family would sit on a bench while we watched Chris go around, and then when he said he was done, we'd get up and follow him to the next ride. So yeah. But I did say, because I'm a mom, like maybe you should go check out the doctor and at least bring those patches.
Okay,
with
but
you.
it wasn't like I was like, "I'm Iron Man, I can do anything." Like I had no reason in my life
I agree.
to get the
But
patch.
I was a Girl Scout, so like prepare.
Yeah, no, you definitely are detail oriented and like think things through. Clearly, we know that I also do. Not. And so I thought I would be fine because I had no reason to think that I would get sick. So as we're boarding the boat, there's like talks that the people who just came back had a huge storm in Drake's Passage.
Well, in fact, our flight to Ushuaia
Oh, it was
got
raining.
delayed.
Oh, yeah.
We actually spent like an extra half day
In Buenos Aires.
In Buenos Aires. Remember, we went to lunch and everything.
Yeah.
They took us out to lunch and everything because the trip coming back. So the boat just goes back and forth to Antarctica. So the boat coming into Ushuaia from Antarctica had hit a really, really big storm in Drake Passage.
So we were like kind of like, he, sucks for them. It's going to be Drake Lake for us.
Not Drake Shake.
Yeah, and I will say, like, so we got on the boat much later than we were supposed to. So we got on. Oh my God.
Yes.
We got on the boat like literally at midnight.
Or later.
Or later. And then before we could set sail, we had to do a fucking, which I get. And I'm glad it happened because if anything had happened, I would want that info. But when you read the room, it was like they held a safety drill for when the boat sinks.
Like life
three-
jackets, lifeboat, the whole thing.
Yeah, life jackets, lifeboats, sirens. I mean, it was
3 a.m.
3 a.m. We didn't have our luggages in our room
Yeah,
yet.
we didn't have luggage. That's a great point.
Like
Yep.
we were just kind of sitting around with our thumbs up our ass, waiting for the magical 7 whistles and then the long siren.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was awful. So, I mean, we're just pounding drinks down. I mean, we were awake till 5 maybe. Well, I was pounding drinks down.
So the luggage came by separate passage. And so we have this evacuation drill, and then the luggage arrived. So it actually came into the boat on our side of the ship. So we, of course, Chris and I just hung out our balcony watching the luggage get loaded. And then, but in the meantime, you had ordered a ton of room service, hadn't you?
No.
Not yet?
No, the
Oh, it was
provisions
coming short.
the provisions were
He was
still
at the
being
bar.
loaded.
That's right. That's
We
to
were
be fair.
No, my
That's
mom
to be
kept
fair.
This was a theme on the boat, I will say. My mom kept throwing me under the bus to all of these alums. And she was like,
no.
Chris,
No, don't.
Chris, is that the balaclava you didn't let me wear? And I go, you never asked. And you go, well, yeah, you offered and I didn't want to wear it. What the fuck?
Okay.
I'm like,
But-
you don't need to put me down to make friends.
So again, we are living in a fairly finite cabin. We did really great, but initially
We are good travel people
we
together.
are terrible. I would think, on face value, I would think we'd be terrible traveling together. But so our luggage, we had this drill at, I don't know, 1:32, 2:30 in the morning, 3. The luggage came after that. And so we looked down our, what's it called?
The hallway?
Or our hallway. And everyone else had gone to bed without their luggage.
So everybody's luggage is outside their door, and we're like, who the fuck would do that?
And so, of course, our luggage comes like 3:30, and Chris is like, okay, well, let's unpack. Now, I would have lived out of my suitcase, but Chris is like, okay, Mom, let's go. Let's get things put away.
Okay, it was partially that.
It was,
but
no, I'm
also...
going to give you a compliment.
Oh,
Because,
okay.
Yeah, because I would have lived out of my suitcase for 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
Chris put everything away, and so...
It wasn't even that, but there was... I would have lived out of a suitcase, but there was no room for
the
our suitcases to be out the whole time.
I mean, we had a couch and a TV and a desk and
But
everything.
it was very, honestly, it felt like, okay, there was this RV TikToker or YouTuber, I think a TikToker, and I used to be, obsessed with their videos, and they would just do, my day in the life of living in, an RV, and it felt like I was watching one of their, it was still beautiful and, spacious, considering it was a boat with other people on it, but it was, 2, twin XLs, but, minus the XL. It was, college twin beds pushed together. So my mom, technically, we had our separate beds, but it was a super mattress with a hole down the center.
Yeah, kind of.
And then it had a tiny 2-person couch and a tiny coffee table kind of, it just wasn't spacious enough to be let's live out of our suitcases. But there was a ton
I agree with that,
of shelving.
But for a boat, I actually thought it was pretty spacious. I mean,
I did too.
I sat and read. We had room service. We played cards.
And there was a
stuff in
nice
our little living
curtain
room.
partitioning the 2 sections.
And we had a balcony, which, at least on our way down on Drake Passage, I mean, I sat outside on the balcony and closed like this.
I would wake up and my mom would be sitting out on the balcony in Drake's Passage with huge, we're going like this. You can see the boat rocking. And my mom's just sitting out there reading and I'm like, what the fuck is... Meanwhile, she's feeling great because she has this patch on. Okay, so we left at
Chris always walked around with his little blue bag.
that story is coming soon. So,
Like a vomit bag?
yeah, so we got on the boat and finished and we're in bed around 5 a.m.
About the railings?
Yes. Around 5 a.m. So the boat obviously started sailing through the Beagle Channel.
Between Argentina and Chile.
Yeah, so it's not right on the Drake's Passage, sea part. You have to go through a little passage in between mountains and then it's the ocean, just the fucking wide ocean. So we missed the whole going through the mountainous channel. So we woke up in Drake's Passage and it was calmer than I expected, mostly because I saw just a bunch of people's videos recently of waves slamming up against their windows and shit.
Yeah,
We never had any of that.
It was 10 to 12 foot swell.
Just 10 to 12 foot swells.
Well, but I mean, so they
You're so nonchalant. You are a living endorsement for this goddamn patch. I swear to fucking God. My mom is twirling. I went upstairs and read. I made 7 coffees. Dwa. Meanwhile, for the first 36 hours, I got probably 30 hours of sleep.
It sounds like the you've had like a totally different experience, and it makes me want to rewatch the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I don't know if you remember that movie.
I do, yeah.
I don't.
John Candy.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like honestly, it really was like the perfect setup for a reality show to be filmed because it was. We really are so different yet so similar, and it's so confusing to me how it works because normally the dynamics are I'm fine and my mom is hurling or like looking like she took
a hurler, but I often
you
don't feel
looked
well.
like you took a tab of LSD the last time we were on a boat without any
That
emotion.
I did.
That was
I did.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Costa
so
Rica.
I was sort of picturing like that happening.
I
However,
think that was the easy money was on me, hugging the
Being
railing
ill.
and Chris swinging from the chandelier.
so we wake up to Drake's Passage and I'm like, oh, we're not. And it's also not only that I felt sick, but the way the boat was rocking when I would lay down, it felt incredible because it felt like you were just like in a hammock that was like slowly rocking you to sleep. So like a lot of the ways that I avoided the seasickness was to just sleep. So I truly slept for over an entire day. And I have never in my life have I taken 2 weeks off like this. Like I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. And in that time, I've gone on vacations and I've been like, I'm not working, but I still am uploading. I'm still editing. I'm still fully doing emails and stuff. We had like no Wi-Fi. I barely pulled out my computer. Like I genuinely did no work on this trip. So
I think that's the most lasting thing for me is that
I don't want to work anymore.
No.
Oh.
So, I mean, obviously I knew it was going to be an amazing vacation, a different locale.
It's so weird calling it a vacation after.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have internet and stuff, but it was so not this world. I mean, we just drove down to the beach and we were talking about it in the car. We were in a car on a highway looking at farms and houses. And I said, okay, a couple days ago, this was a boat in water looking at icebergs. Everything about our life was different. There was no frame of comparison at all.
Yeah, like even seeing icebergs and like the continent of Antarctica, like we went on the continent of Antarctica twice. And even that like didn't actually feel like seeing land. It like, I know it was land.
It's just barren.
But it feels like you're on an iceberg. And also I did not realize until this trip that Antarctica is actually a landmass and not just a giant iceberg. I fully thought it was a giant iceberg. Had no idea there was actual land under there. So if you're stupid like me, there is land.
You're like, what's this shit? A big old snow cone?
Yeah, I thought like when everyone's like, it's melting, I just thought that like there would be no more Antarctica. I didn't realize there was fucking like gravel under there.
But it is kind of hard even when you're there. Yeah, but that is part of it. It's like there are just a lot of icebergs.
So yeah,
it was kind of confusing.
Being back, it's just been so weird. Like even down to like getting text messages during the day, and it's just like,
well, and
it was just a long enough trip where like we got very used to this way of life, just living on a boat, very confined spaces.
Well, and the other thing that really hit me was how passive it was. So can I play this now?
Sure.
Okay, so this is how we woke up many days.
So every room, every bathroom, every balcony, every separated room on this boat had an intercom could be spoken to us. So we woke up most mornings.
Expeditions twice a day, and it was all introduced over the intercom. But many of the morning wake ups were
7 a.m.
Well, with this.
Yeah. Okay. And so this is how I woke up every morning for 2 fucking weeks. No, you have to, Mom, you're blowing the...
What can I say?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon.
This guy, lovely. Anthony, love him.
Lovely.
He, like the running joke, I don't know if every other boat before us had this, but we thought it was so funny. He'd be like, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. And I'm like, what the? So I would wake up to the loudest fucking intercom. Like, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. You are getting on a boat in 5 minutes. And I'm like,
so to be fair,
we have a lot to back. jumped the gun.
Had a rough agenda. Like you're going to see the South Shetland Islands and the Weddell Sea and Antarctica and things. But every afternoon at 6 or 6:30, we had a debriefing, and they would show the weather chart, and the weather can be extreme. So they would try and so we were supposed to, I think, go do the Shetlands last on the way back to Ushuaia, but there was weather down further, so we did the Shetlands first. So the whole expedition. So we did kind of earn the name of expedition.
Well, that was what was cool, and I was going to get to is that like even like this just felt so special. Like I was telling all of the crew and staff and everything, I was like, you guys really like this was so above and beyond expectation, because a lot of the places we went were these expeditionists first time also going to, like, whereas they could have easily been like, and on your right there's an iceberg and on your left there's a penguin, let's get the fuck out of here, like get your picture and have a great time. Because I mean, anybody going to Antarctica would just still be eating that shit up and be like, what a life-changing thing. But they were like changing our itinerary and basically following the good weather and then finding places that would have interesting learning opportunities or new things or X, Y, and Z. So it really was so cool that it was like, yeah, we really were like explorers.
But it was unpredictable. So,
yeah.
You know, we would do these expeditions and then we'd have these debriefs, they'd check the weather and they'd be like, okay, well, it looks like we can get to this island overnight. So they'd haul butt overnight while we partied and whatever. And then, you know, so then depending on how the traveling went overnight, you know, we may get this, you know, really early, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And usually I was awake often, sometimes.
Always. I was in a coma.
Asleep. So I would maybe have met friends at breakfast or maybe be on my way there. And Anthony would be, good morning. And
I would be like, shut up.
No, shut the F up. And yeah, whatever.
But I mean, listen, okay, guys. There's a reason that I was sleeping so late. And 7 a.m. isn't fucking late, by the way, just for the record.
No, I agree.
The sun doesn't set in Antarctica. No, I'm sorry, it does. It's set at like 12:15 a.m. and then it would rise at 2:51 in the morning.
Like sunset was 22:53, which is like 11 p.m. But even still,
the sky is so.
I still took photos till 2 a.m.
Let me show you guys.
On a night of a 22:53 sunset, and it was still light, and then the sun rose at 2:53. So. In theory, there was 3 hours of darkness. But
this picture?
That was well after sunset.
That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
That picture was 11:38 p.m.
And I took one that night at like 1:50, and technically the sun rose an hour later.
Yeah.
It was messed up.
It was, so I just, like, by the time that it would be like 1 in the morning, I was thinking it was like 9 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'd leave dinner every night at 9:30. Like, all right, what are we doing?
Yeah, and everyone's like going to bed because we have a 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's so bright outside. But then there'd be like entertainment and just play games at night.
Oh my God, the entertainment. Okay, anyways. So back to the Drake's Passage. The way there, so when we went through the passage, the staff would put barf bags in all of the railings. So if you needed one, you could. So
because of the open bar?
Yeah, because of the open bar, exactly. We'll just say that. Although I'd rather
open barf.
Open barf.
Nice.
Good
Jake,
one.
You're earning your keep here, dude.
No.
Baby Yoda's clapping for you in the background.
So the best thing during that was the narrow passageways. And I mean, like, so I didn't do badly during Drake Passage, but the boat was still
rocking.
Like, I mean, on the way back, Drake Passage on the way back, we were in some presentation or something in the lounge. And you could be feeling okay, but then you look straight ahead at the bow window of the whole boat, and it's just all water, and then it's all sky. Camera, but it's just completely pitching. Like, I don't know where the camera is. Okay,
it's that thing right there.
Okay, but I'm like over here. It's literally going 45 degrees each way, and so you see sky, then you see ocean, then you see sky. So you'd be walking down the hall. And even though you might feel okay, the boat's still pitching like crazy. And there'd be like a room service guy coming down the hall with this big tray of stuff. And you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Hey.
But that's what's weird.
But
is like
you hope you don't have one of those big lurches and wipe the guy out. You know?
All of the staff.
And they're on roller skates.
Yeah. Well, that was, So the first, I threw up, I think, twice on the way there. The first time it was, I think I ate
You're
like
not going to say it.
no,
Oh,
I was like
know.
after
Yeah.
breakfast, and then I took my medication, and then I quickly vomited right after that. So it was the only thing. Guys, there is truly, and I mean truly, no feeling, taste, sensory overload worse than taking 13 vitamins and medications and then throwing them up with nothing else in the system.
I was going to say that.
It was, and also on boats, obviously, I'm assuming they recycled all the toilet water and all of that. So the water smelled like I was like at the toilet bowl, like I was like, and then I would smell the toilet water, and then I'd be like, and then everyone's like, I think I hear a walrus, and I'm like, no. So that was like really that was pretty brutal. But we finally waking up to we should mention the dynamics of the boat. So they're
thinking about
the Russian people.
I was going to bring that up because you've chastised me a few times for that.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's an integral part of this trip. So
It is.
there were about 55 people from my mom's alums from my mom's school.
I would just say generally the boat was roughly 50-50 Americans and Russians.
Yeah, so
and
it was
the Americans were a few Brazilians.
So there was apparently supposed to be a whole Russian cruise of just Russian people, but
and you should tell what our intel is and how we.
I absolutely will. So.
Like a mini drama.
There was, it was like, we didn't really get TV, but this was like real Russians of Drake's Passage. Like, it was like Bravo would have picked this shit up so quickly. So I guess like the cruise wasn't selling as well or whatever. So there was a Russian boat that was supposed to have all Russians on it.
And with a British flag.
With a British, which I don't understand.
And the bar is only vodka.
Yeah, and the bar. So half of that cruise had to drop out because the men got drafted for the war.
And this we got through our little espionage channels. Which
so we'll get to. Yeah. We'll get to it.
The hell with the Penguins. Let's just.
I know this was like seriously like the talk of the town, and by town I mean boat. So they were supposed to have it, and so they joined our boat. So it was just
the travel company merged the two trips.
I don't really understand, but so it was basically just like strictly Russian like oligarchs. It felt like
with trophy wives.
Wow.
It was just a crazy dynamic because it's
super
like
stressful.
I would try to talk to them and they didn't speak English. Like it was just so stark.
Can we talk about the suitcase, or is that inflammatory?
No. Oh my God.
I'll talk about it. So,
the morning we woke up in Buenos Aires that we are leaving for Ushuaia, we heard this woman singing in the room next door, and I was
talking about the suitcase on the.
No, please don't bring up that suitcase.
Okay,
no,
better, but go for
no. Okay,
what happened with the suitcase?
There was a suitcase that like one of the Russians had that said "I'm free, thank God."
What was in it?
And it had like "fuck Biden," "fuck Macron," "fuck
NATO.
Scholz," "fuck NATO," like. All of this shit, and we're like on an airplane with this suitcase, and I'm like,
my seatmate.
Did security double check this one?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I only bring that up because that really played a huge part in this whole thing of like just the
an undercurrent. I wouldn't say it was a huge part.
It wasn't the Drake's Passage, but it was the undercurrent exactly. So I say this because one of the nights of entertainment on the boat. Oh my God. Okay, so we are just about to finish Drake's Passage. We're in the Arctic Sea and it's New Year's Eve. And so we celebrated New Year. Like we came into the New Year in Antarctica because like we had just pretty much gotten there. And so on New Year's Eve, all of the Russians like we had a strict fucking packing list of like, your bags must be this size by this size by this size and weigh no more than this. And this bag better not be more than this, this, and this, and not way more than this.
And don't pack fancy clothes. You're just on the boat. You're just chilling. No big deal.
It's New Year's Eve, and I was like, Mom, we should pack like nothing crazy, just like a button down and pants or something, just for New Year's on the boat. Like that'll be fun. It's New Year's Eve, and the Russians all start coming into like the observational deck, and there are sequins flapper dresses. There are head to toe hot pink, like spandex boots,
Oh my
stilettos.
Flat on party dresses with
They
like
had like the Met
millions
Gala.
of
Like it
pounds
literally
of
looked
glitter.
like a
Chris
Met
and I
Gala
were measuring
outfit.
every ounce we put in the bag.
And they
Like,
didn't give a fuck, by the way. No one checked
Yeah.
any of it.
like at the last minute, somebody said you can have those ice shoes, those blade things that you can put on your
Crampons.
boots. So we bought those, and that was like about 50 pounds of metal, and we were bringing all these productive things, and I don't know, like, oh, should I bring 2 pair of mittens or no? And then these outfits start rolling out.
And
I had brought a maybe pretty, fancier shirt than this, and at the last minute was like, that serves no value. I chucked it. And then when I saw the stuff, these people, it was unbelievable.
I was like, how did these people get here with this? And so that night, all of a sudden they had like entertainment, and then they were like, please welcome the Russian Lady Gaga.
Did they say that?
And
I thought
immediately
we called her that.
I was hooked. No, they said this.
Oh, they did? I
They
thought
were
that
like,
was our name.
please
Okay.
welcome to the stage Russian Lady Gaga. Lose my mind, because this woman comes up to the
Unbelievable.
stage
Unbelievable.
and looked exactly,
acted, everything.
looked, laughed, yes, like facial mannerisms. It was fucking
It was
insane.
unbelievable.
So she starts singing, and it is like, I mean, we had all just been on the boat, and this was honestly most of ours first time being awake in 2 days. So like, not many of us had really met. Like, and here she is doing, we found love in a hopeless place. We found love in a hopeless. Like, she is belting crazy pop music. And it's mostly adults, like just full on adults. And so, like, I mean, I was eating the fuck out of this. I was like, now this is a buffet. Yum, 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 yum.
Oh my God.
So she sings, and I'm like, guys, Russian Lady Gaga. Oh my God. And I think, honestly, I campaigned to have her have like a headlining show and then another one later on in the week. But that's for a different story. So that's one of the reasons I bring up the Russians on the boat, was just like, wow, they provided entertainment. So anyway, we wake up January 1st, and we like see land. We're
Can
like,
we just finish up on the Russians? Like how we got the intel?
okay, so how we got all this intel
just
is
because it's funny.
all of us were just like, oh my God, like, has anybody talked to any of them? Like, do we know? Like, and like with the war in Ukraine right now, like I was definitely like, so do y'all support it? Are y'all for it? Are y'all funding it? I just had like a very like sinister, like we were all just kind of on edge. Especially,
You should have done man on the boat interviews.
a man on the boat. No, oh God, I tried for the entirety of this boat to go under the radar of like, I'm Chris, I'm Angela's son. That's all you need to know.
And meanwhile, you're colluding with the Russians.
And meanwhile, I'm colluding with the Russians. Exactly. I'm taking the 2024 election, bitches. I'm your president now. So we would all just be like talking of like, has anyone talked to them? Do people know how they're even here? Because like Amex and MasterCard doesn't do business with Russia. And
it's
with
not
the
like
war,
we
why
came
aren't the
on
men drafted?
And it's not like we came on with friends. I mean, we came on knowing each other. Yeah, this was my college, but I didn't know any of the people. So, when you meet people, you're not going to jump right into politics or assume anything.
Except when there's
dinner,
75 Russians on board.
But at dinner, everyone's like, what do you think about the Russians? Oh, isn't this kind of uncomfortable? Oh. And so very quickly, you realized it was on the top of everyone's
It really
consciousness.
bonded everybody.
Yeah.
And so
a million meals of, what do you think? I don't know. Do you think they're nice? Should we talk to them? Has anyone talked to them? Have you talked to them?
Well, yeah, it was just also a logistical thing of like, how are they here if they can't can't use MasterCard, Amex, like if the men are supposed to be drafted?
Yeah, there were a lot of draft age men on the boat.
Yeah, so we were all just kind of confused, just based off of local
current
events, exactly, local. Here in Delaware, the Russians are pulling up.
Skirmishes on the eastern side of our town.
So one day, this woman we met, we'll call her Patricia.
Patricia Arquette?
Patricia Arquette, exactly. She was like, guys, I didn't realize, but the hot tub is where they all congregate at night, because there was like a hot tub and sauna on the 8th floor. And that was one of the reasons I was like, oh my God, I never thought I'd be a cruiser, but here suddenly I see a sauna that overlooks Antarctica and I'm in. And it really was gorgeous. But so she went up and she comes down and she goes, guys, I got in the hot tub with the Russians and I got all the info. And she was like, I asked, how did they even afford this if MasterCard and Amex? And I'm sitting there going, you asked this?
Damn.
So she tells us that like the Russians were able to pay for it because they had basically brokers in other countries that
Abu Dhabi or something. Is that where they went through?
Yeah. So they basically had people book the trip for them and they paid them. And the reason that there were men of drafting eligibility on the boat and not fighting in the stupid fucking war that they started was because they were essential business people in Russia. So essentially they were fucking loaded, I presume. And what other info did we learn?
Oh, the 80% of them are for the war.
Oh, I didn't learn that.
There was another person that got in the hot tub and got
I overheard.
Who was the other person? Do you remember? I know the one.
I don't.
It was Putin.
It was Putin was on board and said, "Meet me on the hot tub."
But it was so funny
or
because
something.
Subsequent nights you'd be eating with somebody different. They'd be like, "How do you know that?" I'm like, "Oh, well, Patty was in the hot tub with the Russians and blah blah blah." And it just sounded like, wait a minute, did that really come out of my mouth? Like, in what part of my normal life would I be talking like? Susie was in the hot tub with Putin's friends and told us.
So we were like learning all of this like information, and it was sort of just
two American women who were actually brave enough to go jump in and
I mean, every Russian person that I talked to, I had a really wonderful time with. I ended up in conga lines and on stage dancing with. I was doing the real UN work here. So
you were.
If you want to call me El Ambassador, feel free. Alrighty, now before we carry on with the rest of the episode, I want to thank one of our sponsors, which is MindBloom. If you do not know, MindBloom is the leader in at-home ketamine therapy for people looking for a new way to treat their anxiety and depression. They combine science-backed medicine with a guided treatment plan that is both affordable and fast-acting. To begin, take MindBloom's online assessment and schedule a video consult with a licensed psychiatric clinician. If approved, you'll work with MindBloom on your specific treatment plan, and you will be mailed a customized kit complete with medicine, a journal, and treatment materials. Now, after only 2 sessions, 87% of MindBloom clients reported improvements in depression, and 85% reported improvements in anxiety. So guys, it's time to enter your next chapter, mental health and well-being. Achieve transformational outcomes with MindBloom. Luckily, right now, MindBloom is offering our Unhinged listeners $100 off your first 6-session program when you sign up at mindbloom.com/unhinged and use promo code unhinged at checkout. Once again, go to mindbloom.com/unhinged and use promo code unhinged for $100 off your first 6-session program today. What's that? You need it one more time? No worries, I got you. That's mindbloom.com/unhinged and promo code unhinged. Thank you. Now, before we carry on with the rest of the episode, I want to thank another sponsor of today's episode, which is OUAI. Take your hair, body, and lifestyle routines to the next level with OUAI's award-winning products and signature scents created by celebrity stylist Jen Atkin. I love OUAI's products, from the leave-in conditioner, which I think is sitting on my counter from unboxing it today, to the dog shampoo. Oh my God, I just bathed Booger in it and she smells so fucking good. I love their hand soap, their hand lotion. They have so many amazing products. I just love the way that my hair smells and feels after these products. I love the way that my dog smells and feels after these products. And I know that most of us have dealt with dandruff at some point in our lives. In fact, 1 in 5 of your friends is motherfucking flaky. With it being the new year, they want flake-free to be the way to be in 2023 with their new anti-dandruff shampoo. It is formulated with their Cape Town fragrance that has notes of ginger and spearmint, and it also contains salicylic acid to gently soothe itchy, irritated scalps while keeping your hair clean and soft. Now, after 28 days, 100% of participants agreed that they saw fewer flakes and their scalp felt less itchy and irritated. And that goes back to the way that OUAI likes to make every product designed for effortless routines in your life your way. So in the new year, do more than drugstore with the new anti-dandruff shampoo from OUAI. Go to THEOUAI.com and use code unhinged for 15% off your entire purchase. That's THEOUAI.com/unhinged. Thank you so much, OUAI. I literally love your products so much. And the fact that you are supporting my podcast means the world. Everybody go to theouai.com and use code unhinged, and let's get back to the episode. Anyways, so we wake up on New Year's Day. Yeah, we're only on the first day of this trip. We wake up New Year's Day and we like see icebergs and like, what was that?
I was
that
so
land?
jubilant when I saw
It was like waking up on the most ultimate snow day.
It was
really
2 days of open ocean. And right before we left, Chris was like, Mom. And that's how you say it, Mom. We're going to be out at sea, like with nothing in sight. Like they had these bird watching get-togethers, and I'm like, excuse me, there's nothing out there.
No, there were a ton of birds.
And Drake Passage?
Oh, I don't. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
in
was
Drake
just
Passage,
like-
they were all following our boat on the
they
way
were.
back. Remember?
On the way there, though. And in
I don't know.
any
I
case,
was not
I
conscious on the way
definitely
there.
remember the morning I woke up and we had gotten within sight of land. It felt really cool. It really did.
Yeah, it was just like cool to see land again. And so we did, like, the first thing we did was like a Zodiac. Those are what the boats are called. Like, they fit 10 people. I literally feel like they could pop at any given moment. And so we did a Zodiac, like an hour and a half boat ride around icebergs. And I mean, it was so, that was probably one of, like, we saw tons of penguins and whales and seals. That day was probably
a really fun day.
the most magical just because
It was new.
it was like one were there.
Yeah.
2, it was the new year and new me. 3, it just to see these icebergs in person is like people have been asking me about this trip and I don't know how to describe the things that we saw because it was just so indescribably another world.
Yeah.
Like it was stunning. Like the colors that you saw of blue and the water, the ice in the ice, like there were things where it looked like if you sprayed antifreeze in the snow, it looked literally like that, but it was obviously nature. And it was just like, I remember thinking like, holy shit.
That first day when we were in the Zodiac and we saw
these are the Zodiac
that's
boats.
a Zodiac.
They're like,
I was wondering what. Oh, wow.
they're like literally Mission Impossible boats.
Yeah, you sit like 5 people on a side and that's how we zoomed
and they
around.
bounce. So every wave you hit, you're like,
yeah.
So
I have a question for you. When you were there and you stopped to look, obviously it's so hard unless you're there to understand how breathtaking the view is. What was the sound like? Was it just sheer quiet?
It was really
silence.
Quiet. It was really quiet.
Silence. It was literally, guys, I truly, after this trip, could live so far off the grid. Like, this trip actually, like, I genuinely felt that I could leave my life and just explore the Antarctic and, like, take notes and do observation. Like, holy shit,
So
serenity.
Yeah,
of
I'm going
all
to put
it.
up just another logistics picture. Of course, I can't do it because I'm not.
She has arthritis.
No, because I can't figure out the orientation. So that's like 10 people in a Zodiac, and in the very back, you can see the mothership. It's pretty blurry, but
There were aliens out there?
Yeah, we got abducted. I'm Zdorn.
yeah,
What were we talking about? Oh, the silence was just, I mean, when we were like anchored in some of these waters, the water would be so calm. And you would just have these picturesque mountains and glaciers and icebergs and whale tails. And I'm not talking about thongs, bitch. I knew you were about to hop on that, Justin. And penguins and whales. It really was. And the freshness of the air, the silence and the freshness of the air were two of the things that, like...
Yeah, you kept saying, oh, let me fill my lungs with this air.
Literally, I saw a TikTok where it was like, if you have a deviated septum, which I'm pretty sure I fucking do, if you take your thing and, like, lift that's, like, what a normal breath of air feels like. I did that so many times. It was so crisp and so... Oh, my God. Like, my lungs were like... Thank you.
You'll never be able to see this, but it's a video of us I don't know how to do that. Just bombing through the, just look at it. It was just so,
like it
That was
really,
like a movie.
It was.
Felt like a fucking,
Especially
like it felt like
these
we were
Zodiacs, you're 8-9 inches off the surface. And
when we went over like little shards of ice, you could hear them under the boat.
Yes.
Like it was just.
Well, and that was cool. So on the way back, I think going back towards Ushuaia, as we were going through Drake Passage, the boat, I don't know, they would say, oh, it's a class whatever icebreaker.
A P5, I think they said.
Whatever. But on the way up, I mean, that was part of all the navigation, was they had radar and a drone and all kinds of stuff trying to avoid all the ice. But on the way back, they did cut through some ice and break it. And it was kind of cool to go through, like...
It was cool the first time when we were eating dinner and the sun was up. It was not as cool when it was 4 in the fucking morning and the pitch black.
That is
and
true.
all of a sudden you wake up to...
Yeah, one night we were eating dinner. We heard all this noise. We ran over and...
I was like, well, if this is a big boat, let's cut through some ice. And they were like, bet, bitch.
And then a couple days later... everyone, breakfast the next day, and they said on the famous intercom, what were y'all doing at 4 a.m.? I bet you were all awake, because the boat did cut through some major
And they
ice.
took footage of it, and it was so cool.
Yes, we do have a video of that. I mean, it was very cool.
Yeah, we can't go through every day, because this podcast episode will literally be so
forever.
fucking long.
But so getting back to the whole sound thing, it was super quiet unless we were at like a penguin rookery, and then it was bananas.
It was actual,
like
BANANAS.
Tens of thousands of penguins rearing their young. So
I'm trying to think. So the first day we did the icebergs, what was the evening thing?
Oh gosh, you want to go through every expedition?
Oh, was that the polar? That was the polar plunge. Guys, I jumped in Antarctic water.
He did.
I have never been in worse shape in my life, and I literally was like, here is my bare naked body. Another whale joins.
They did.
I jumped in. I got a certificate.
Did you skinny dip?
I didn't skinny dip. It was like a fully public thing, and there were kids on the boat, so I wasn't trying to go to jail immediately.
How cold was it? How cold?
It was so here's the fucking thing. I think I was so... all the adults were like, I'm not going to do it. My heart could stop. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean your heart could stop? So all the adults are like, yeah, you could go into shock and die. And I'm like...
a ton of people did it.
Yeah, a ton of people did it. Yeah, I saw a bunch of kids and old people do it. So I was like, okay, I'm fine.
Was it a New Year's Day thing?
It was New Year's Day, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, that's when you do the polar plunge.
Because that was where we saw the humpback whales in the afternoon.
Okay.
In that, really, with the Superdome, the Astrodome.
Oh, yeah.
That was that day. So we saw, humpback whales and their tails going in. And so later that night was the polar plunge. And I literally, I was like, okay, I have to do it. I don't want to do it, but, I'm never going to be in Antarctica again. I got to do it. And so I jumped in, I dove in, and it was really fucking cold. But I wish I stayed in longer and kind of enjoyed it a little bit. But it was so, based off of all of the sea life we had seen up until that point, I was kind of scared as fuck jumping in, because I'm like, oh, well, 5 minutes before I jumped, there is a huge humpback whale, probably 20 to 35 feet. That's
so cool.
Off of where we are diving. So I'm like, what am I diving the fuck into even? And so I dove in, and I got more scared of the fact that I'm in open waters in Antarctica than I am that it's cold. To me, the coldness was I've done ice baths. Yeah, it was the second I went in, it was for the first time in 4 days, I had actually seen darkness, and I was like, holy shit, where the fuck am I? And then it started to hit me that it was cold as I was trying to get on the ladder to I couldn't find. Anyways, it was fucking awesome. It was sunset. It was one of the most beautiful things ever. Mom, you killed the camera work for that.
Thank you. I don't usually.
So that was really so cool. I'm so glad I did that. But I do want to say, and this is something I wanted to say earlier, because I saw a wonderful thing on the internet of, Chris, why are you in Antarctica? That is so damaging. Bitch, driving to the grocery store is damaging, okay? And on top of it, this boat's number one priority was understanding that this is a very fragile ecosystem. And all of that, the amount of protocol we had to go through to get off of the boat, even for the polar plunge.
That's a great point.
We had to go through disinfectant. We had
to
scrub our boots. Everyone made sure that nothing from Antarctica came onto the boat, and nothing from the boat came onto Antarctica.
Yeah, so we got material to read before we went about So some species have been purposefully introduced to Antarctica. I don't want to misspeak, but I think mice and rabbits honestly come to mind from a predator point of view.
Similar.
But also
similar.
a bunch of microbes and stuff like that they don't want introduced, which, it was interesting reading. I'd never, I'm ashamed to say, really thought about what a pure ecosystem it is.
Oh my God, that's all I thought about. I was like, there's not even a McDonald's here.
Well, no, but I meant pure from like a microbiome point of view. But, it's true. I mean, we scrubbed, and then when we'd leave each place, they'd have a foot wash set up there. And then when we'd get back on the mother boat, we scrub and disinfect.
I didn't need to use the gym on the fucking boat because this putting on all of our gear. We had waterproof pants, jackets, backpacks, life jackets, boots, coats, another club, and bus,
so sometimes
airplane.
We'd have a morning expedition, and then we'd all hang out. We'd have lunch, hang out, maybe have a drink, and then it'd be like, oh, do you want to? Oh, and then the next expedition, you'd be kind of rolling your head like, oh my God.
And then we're like, guys, wake up, we're in Antarctica.
Do I have the energy to go to base camp, which that would piss me
is
off.
what they called all the lockers that they.
Yeah, the third deck is like there's a locker room. And,
well, that's the door how we got onto the boat.
Yeah, so you get on and off the boat through the side on the third deck. But it was like base. Everyone, blue and red groups down to base camp.
I don't know why that bothered you so much.
I know, just base camp. Like
every time you go down, she's like, base camp.
This is like a bunch of rich people. I mean, don't make it sound like I'm in the army or anything. I mean, it was like, base camp. And it's like, oh my God, all these travel people let us all prance down. So I don't know. It was just kind of.
I mean, but for what we were doing, like, I felt base camp earned its fucking name.
I honestly had to too, because we had to wear a life jacket everywhere we went. All our clothes.
We learned how to grab to get onto a boat.
Oh, yeah.
We had to grab the wrist because if
I let go, he's still holding on.
Mr. Strong is, and then if I let go, well, now I'm dead.
So you learn all these protocols. So every time you get on and off, you couldn't just oh no, I'm fine. Be like,
I was like, guys, this is a little extreme.
I'm sure they tell you like ways to not interact with wildlife too, right? Where they like,
they set up every time we went on land. They had their expedition leaders, who were well versed in all of the ecosystem and whatnot, like basically put like walking sticks in formations that would be like, don't walk past here. Only follow this guide. Like,
and we had previously been told, like, okay, for penguins, don't get within 15 feet. For seals, don't get within 45 feet.
And don't stand between any animal and the water.
Yeah.
And
for polar bears, they only drink Coca-Cola.
Well, there are no polar bears in Antarctica. I had no idea of that.
Yep. Which will be my next trip.
Yeah, I'm so down for that. Oh my God, Chris and Angela take the Arctic.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a follow series with you two.
We really should, Jake. Get working on it. Snap, snap.
By the way, I have one thing to announce, Chris. You booked a role, but I cannot tell you what it is until after the podcast. So congratulations.
I did?
What?
So all that work that you did, looking at penguins and all of that, you nailed it. So congratulations. So there you go.
You're going to be on Room Raiders?
I am. I'm going to. Oh my God, wait. How did you know that?
What did he say in here?
You're going to be on Room Raiders? That was one of the shows they referenced. And I was like, ooh.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, wait, what? Oh, wait, Jake, how did you find that out?
A little birdie texted. That's all.
Oh my God, what? And also, guys, I want to tell you that if all goes according to plan, will be a future episode of Unhinged in February with a real housewife. Sorry. So sorry. Oh my God, I am literally busting over this. Okay, anyways, back to Antarctica.
Oh, no, I just want to say that the fact that you went off and you were off the grid, you and I talk all the time, and you and I talked before you left. It was awesome just seeing things unfold as you were on this massive expedition adventure, and you and your mom just loving life. So nothing better than good things coming in while you're having fun.
Thank you. Well, no. Good things weren't coming in while I was having fun. That was probably one of the most stressful things about my trip, was trying to do that fucking audition.
From the boat.
On the 2-year anniversary of the insurrection.
Oh, God.
That was going to be one of my jokes, was happy 2nd year anniversary of the insurrection. But I never got to make that joke because we were Andrik's passage, Your
But
Honor.
I think it's a good mental health note for people that, sometimes it's a good idea to get untethered, take a moment, breathe a little bit. Yeah.
See, I told my therapist this yesterday where I was like, oh my God, it was truly like 2 weeks off. Like,
Yeah.
I have never had 2 weeks off like this. I mean, since like 5th grade.
And things worked out.
I don't know if they worked out, but coming back to real life is fucking brutal. Like, I can't do this ever again. Where I take 2, like, because I'm ready to commit. Like, oh, no, not like that. Like, just like to a phoneless life, just a life of silence and
But not
simplicity.
only just cut off, and that all your senses was taking in things that were foreign. I mean, you had no way to calibrate
That's such a good way of thinking
or
about
to
it.
tether to your normal life. Like I said, instead of driving down a highway, even like I've lived on or near the beach my whole life, and you're used to looking out and seeing, like we were on the boat, looking out and seeing water passage, but you'd see like tiki bars or beach huts, and this was icebergs. I mean, I can't convey how off-putting it was. And then
in the best way.
in the absolute best way. And then things like no work, no cell phones. I mean, like I said, at some point somebody
I didn't even have to choose what I was eating.
Well,
like,
I was going to just say, work up to that. So, I mean, yeah, somebody comes in and says, oh, that Idaho killer was found like 10 days ago. So
wait, it was?
Yeah, like I found out in the middle of the trip. Okay, you're finding out today.
Oh my God, I just found out live on air.
Yeah, live on air. But so a lot of that was like, like, wow, that's wild. But as Chris started to talk about, it was so passive. Like Anthony would be like, hey, get up. Expedition 1. Like you go, okay, go down, put on your waterproof pants, whatever. But then we had this Michelin 5-star chef on board. So you'd go down, you'd have, you'd plop down for 3 meals, and like 2 of them you went and just picked your own food. But dinner, it was a menu, and they waited on you. And like one of our colleagues couldn't decide on what dessert to have, so they brought them all 3. It was just so passive. And now to get home and
now I'm putting the ass in passive. My ass is fucking fat with a PH.
But
bitch.
now it's like you get hungry and you go, hello.
Well, even when we got to Buenos,
I have to go buy it. I have to make it. I have to choose.
We landed in Buenos Aires after leaving the boat, and we had dinner at the hotel. And I was staring at the menu, and I literally was like, I don't know how to order right now because like just getting back to real life has been so fucking difficult. Today's day 2, and my mom was like, how are you today? You seem a little off. And I'm like, I'm overthinking everything today.
Dude,
it's
readjusting to no open bar.
Well,
for real.
I'll cheers to that.
No,
and
I have to buy my own booze.
I know.
And ice for days on the rocks.
Well, that was what was cool is some days kayakers would be kayaking, and there would be, I guess, like ice floating in the ocean or something, or they brought back like a little chunk of ice and would bring it to the bar upstairs, and they would break. And I had a little cocktail with glacier ice in it.
That's super sick.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
That was really cool.
I was looking for the photo of the day where I just...
Did you eat any snow?
That's the photo
Okay. So on this trip, I will say, they said, do not touch anything on land. Like, do not, like, don't put your bags down. Things can have bird flu. We went to Vega Island, which was funny because the name of the boat was the SH Vega. And so we went to the island and it was like uninhabited, but it had a fresh layer of snow. So I was like, and I took a little fingerful of snow, and then my mom.
Naughty.
I took a video of my mom eating the snow.
Yeah.
Chris is like, Mom, take some snow. Well, he took like a fingernail clipping.
My mom took like a fucking handful.
And
put it all in her
and
mouth.
Then I was like,
yeah.
And then Chris, of course, made me laugh. Yeah.
Show the kid how it's done, Mama.
And then I was like, wow, am I breaking protocol? I felt kind of bad. Like, don't let anyone see me.
I know. I felt really bad about litter.
You could swallow the evidence, though. No one will know.
I know.
Yeah.
No one really. And I mean, the only person that's going to get harmed is me. So
then when I heard they were bringing home stuff for cocktails, I was like, well, whatever.
Yeah, I feel so much better. Why is our camera out of focus all of a sudden?
I have a question for you. Your favorite animal. What was your favorite animal?
My favorite animal.
Cut to video of the penguin shitting.
Oh my God. The way that I learned how penguins shit
So that whole
blew
day,
my mind and my asshole.
So first of all, I mean, just before I even there's
Why is this-
white lines all over the islands.
There we go.
Like just white lines, like
Well,
from
yeah,
a
all of the
baseball game
penguins
or
are
something.
sitting on a little mound, which is their nest, and then it's like almost a sun with white lines.
Well, just even before the rookery, there were just
They're
white lines
cokeheads.
everywhere. Never thought about what it could be. And then at one point, Chris, and so we're on this island that's a rookery. There's 50,000, 100,000, I mean, a million penguins. And Chris is like, oh, I'd love to get a video of it shitting. And I'm like, what are you, 5? And that is literally verbatim our conversation. So then...
And then she was like... And I
then
was
he
like,
gets that footage, and it's like, well, I'll be damned. That was actually very interesting.
that's not as bad as my mom getting footage of a baby penguin getting taken by a fucking, what is that bird called?
Petrol.
Oh,
Petrol.
no.
I did.
Oh,
I really
fuck.
did. So we're on this island. It's, like I said, it's a rookery. It's
What
just
was it called? Pepalina?
Round Bluff.
No, that was the continent of Antarctica.
Periantos Island.
Periantos.
Periantos Island.
P with a P.
B. No,
P. It was a P.
It was a B.
It was a
I
P.
took notes. I kept a journal. Geek.
I fucking didn't, so I'll
anyway.
take her word for it.
Yeah, you have
That's
to figure
smart.
it. Well, because I knew this would happen. It would all. It's so clear.
But
when
this
you're
is
there.
where there were chinstrap and gentoo penguins.
Yeah.
We learned 3 types of penguins. Gentoo, Adelie, and chinstrap.
Yep.
Chinstraps have a little black thing under their chin. The gentoos have
white eyes.
little white things above their eyes and an orange beak.
Aw.
And then the Adelie penguins are like black and white and have white eyeliner. Anyways, I'm an explorer or whatever.
So when
Which one do you want to adopt?
I didn't like the chin straps. They just gave me like weird vibes. Like they would put something in your drink. Like they just like I don't know. They just aren't that cute. I really like the Gentoo, but then I saw the Adelie, and I'm like, honestly, the white eyeliner is
What were
kind
the
of a
ones
vibe.
That all walked into the water after each other. That was the cutest.
Oh my God. It was
That's
just
the
living
cutest.
like in a fucking episode of Planet Earth. Like
It was
after
unbelievable.
so many years of watching that shit watching penguins in real life
Unbelievable.
jump off of rocks
Yep.
in masses, just following each other. Like this
It was
vlog, I
almost
truly
like-
felt like David Attenborough. I was
Yeah.
like, and here the penguins
It was almost
jump.
like their tribe got together that morning and said,
Let's give them a show,
there'll be
bitch.
humans here today. And
Put
it
your
was
fins
just-
in,
it was
girl.
unbelievable.
Woo!
So
Or
like,
flipper.
so there's a whole island of penguins,
Oh, it's a wing.
and then these 2 brown birds arrive, and it's like
Giant petrels.
And I was like,
Oh.
okay, this cannot be good, right?
We don't.
So
we
later
don't
on-
stand.
So later on, I found out they come and they work together, and one of them distracts, and the other one is a predator. So I was watching one, and it was kind of like, we're told you can't interact with them. It's not like you can shoo them away. What's going to happen is going to happen. So I'm sitting there like just beaming bad thoughts to this petrel, and he's kind of minding his business. But I mean, it's just, it would be like, I don't know, the rookery is like the Grand Central Station of penguins, right? They're just everywhere. It's chaos. And so it's pretty easy pickings for this petrel. Anyway, all of a sudden I noticed the other one. Where is he? Oh, he's over away. So I'm looking, and part of me is thinking, okay, the women are all busy on the nest. What the hell is wrong with these male penguins? Can't they get on this, get
To
together,
that.
and chase off these petrels? What is their problem? So I'm watching the faraway petrel.
A man
And-
not doing something for a
I'm
woman?
not trying to
What?
make it like that, but it is kind of funny. Anyway,
If the shoe fit.
I watched this other petrel. He's gone farther away, and I'm seeing him on the ground. It's kind of far away, but I see a bunch of penguins chasing him, and I'm like, okay, let me get my phone. Good job. Those male penguins are finally chasing this guy away, which they were, but after he had already snatched a chick.
Oh.
And so I was thinking I was getting this great victory footage of like, yay, the penguins are victorious. And then as the petrel's flying off, in profile, yeah, it's got a chick. So
Yeah.
You got the kidnapping.
yeah,
It's
the
the
kidnapping.
circle of life. And that's all I'm going to sing because we don't have the rights. Yeah, I really, I didn't love the elephant seals, but they really were just fucking fascinating. And I guess I kind of resonate to them on a human level, especially after all the food I ate. They are
Lethargic.
Fucking
they do nothing.
massive.
Massive.
They are giant, land slugs. Like when you're watching Planet Earth, like you're just like, no, seal, win. When you see that motherfucker in real life doing the worm to move and all 8 tons of its fucking flubber are, oh my God, I think I took a slow-mo of one of them doing it.
You don't even need to take a slow-mo. Real mo is slow-mo.
Real mo.
Real mo.
So they are enormous. When
real mo is slow-mo, no homo.
I'm going to the water.
It was just cool because also they fight a lot, and the way that they fight is bashing their fat bodies into another fat body.
They just rear up and go boom.
And they gave me such booger vibes. They have these huge eyes and just like a like, oh my God, the way that literally looked like
not
one.
Attractive. But Booger's cute.
Booger is cute, but like it was just wild. Like
and they
like
would make
even
really nasty. Like they'd sleep,
oh my God,
and then all of a sudden you'd see one of them
picture
or whatever.
Picture
and then
your
all
wettest fart,
and they chest bump each other and go. Oh, and you're just kind of filming it and going, "Oh God, should I be filming this? This is terrible." I mean, it's so.
It really like
as
wasn't
cute
like
as the penguins are. These guys were.
But I also thought elephant seals ate penguins. They fucking don't.
They don't. So that was a happy story that day.
I guess I was like, kind of wanting some drama on the trip besides Russia, but the elephant seals were just great. Oh my God, like it was just even there was this one place, Elephant Point, where there was just like a peninsula that kind of came out like a little jetty essentially, and the whole fucking things was penguins.
And is that the one where the penguins and then seals run
seals on like all on the whole thing, and then that picturesque glacier in the background.
Yep.
Oh my God, I wanted to fuck that iceberg. It was so
everything was so pretty.
Oh, the Instagram picture with like my faux fur jacket and the ice thing in the background. That was what I'm talking. It was like the Aquafina logo, but like on crack.
I'm trying to think this through.
It was literally like if you Googled gorgeous ice mountain with snow.
And then had all these things.
It was just stunning. And so that was the backdrop of Elephant Point. And there were just, I mean, probably 50 elephant seals just on the beach,
at least,
laying, some of them fighting, some of them like doing the worm to move. There was just so many penguins. And on the beach, there were so many bones. There was a rib cage probably the size of my dining table, which is like 66 inches or something.
Humble brag.
There was a full, I've got a 66-inch dining table.
Elephant seal.
No, but
that's a lot of wood.
I think it might be bigger. Sorry. But there was also like a full skeleton of like a whole seal. Just I swear to God, it felt so hard to describe to people. Like, yeah, I'm on the same planet as you. Like, it just felt like we went to a different world. Like it, like just to see a full seal skeleton. It was like the seal was mid swim and then just got vaporized and its skeleton was just. Sorry, I'm just bursting with excitement.
His body's been taken over by an elephant seal.
But that's also the noise they made. We'd go to land like after a meal, and then it would like I would be like, "Wow, I'm really gassy," and then you would hear like an elephant seal go like, and I'm like, "No, okay, that was a seal for sure." Like it was just the most disgusting, guttural,
but I have to
liquid
say,
shit sounds.
That day we went to this island he's talking about with the beautiful iceberg in the background. I actually had a feeling like I was at, and this sounds weird, but like a human beach. Like the penguins, when we
it did kind of feel human beachy.
And all off to the right is this huge bit of beach with, at that point, probably the biggest population of penguins in one place we had seen yet. We hadn't been to a rookery. So they were all like, and they're hyper. And then you go around, cross over to the other side, and there's all the seals, and they're just like
fat as fuck laying
like
there.
laying on the beach. And
I love them.
Such a human vibe. Like,
just like Cabo.
This was,
exactly.
But it really, I mean, now as I'm thinking back on it, I'm not sure I could have articulated it then, but now
no, that's so
it
interesting.
definitely
I didn't think of it like that.
all the penguins over there, you know, socializing, and then just all the beach bums lying there. They did not care what was going on. And when I think back, just the picture in my mind is it's a very human vibe to it. It was really.
Well, I also feel like it's like we could have just pulled up an umbrella and two chairs and totally all coexisted.
Yeah.
Like,
because I don't think that was where they were raising chicks or whatever. I didn't get that.
No,
vibe.
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Yeah.
Well, there was also, I don't know. And there was also like thermal heat coming from the ground. So it was like steaming. It was,
Whoa.
dude, it just like is so hard to articulate. Like, I guess you'll just have to wait for the vlog.
Nice.
It's almost like visual effects. It's almost like James Cameron. You didn't need Way of the Water, Avatar, right?
No, but it really, like, it's so hard to say, like, it felt like we were living in planet Earth without that sounding so stupid. But, like, there is, like, you, as someone who has watched so much planet Earth in their life, you just, like, you see it on TV and you don't register it as, like, oh, this is the same planet we live on. Maybe you do, and you're not smoking weed during a grid for you. But for me, like, I watch planet Earth and I'm just like, oh, yep, steam comes out of the ground and a penguin jumps in the water off the beach. Totally. Yeah, I get that. But, like, to see it in person, like, all of these animalistic behaviors and
again,
just
in the absence of any trappings of our normal life, like there was a TV.
They're not used to people.
The only thing we did on the TV was get the schedule for the day and see what was in room service. But like the TV remote had a Netflix button, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Yeah, no, Netflix does not exist on Antarctica. So I mean, there were, even though you might think you had some trapping of your life, you didn't. So you're seeing these things not in addition to like this life, but in a totally alternate reality.
We had coffee on the boat.
Well, but I meant just a really stripped down existence.
Yeah,
really.
no,
I
but
mean,
it was just weird to see like steam coming off the ground because
Yes.
there's literal volcanic shit under it or whatever.
Remember,
Like
we went to an island that was like
Deception Island.
Deception Island, almost a circle. Well, that's because the water was
in the volcano.
caldera of this volcano that was Deception Island. So, we're sailing and, hanging out on the rim, that's above ground of
but you could see bubbles
volcano
coming up from the ground in the water.
From the thermal
Whoa.
vents. And
it's so hard to like actually grasp that we didn't get on like a spaceship or something.
Exactly. It really is.
And the penguins are so not used to people that they don't even pay them any mind. Like, none of the animals seemed startled by us. Granted,
You were wearing a big penguin costume.
Yeah, well, some people brought penguin onesies on the boat, and it was
really?
just, like, so funny.
I mean, not out into the wild.
Yeah, because we had, like, a uniform.
Stuff,
But it's so, like, people are like, how's your trip? And I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Because it almost doesn't feel real. Like, there were some parts where like we would be on a boat and we'd be passing land or an island and I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're in like Alaska or like Wyoming. Granted, Wyoming's fucking landlocked. But like, you see mountains and you're like, okay, I can conceptualize mountains. But then when there's just penguins, oh my God, we would just be on the boat going from like landing site to landing site, and there would just be penguins swimming in the ocean.
Well, that was
just
the cool
everywhere.
part.
Like,
we had gone to a bunch. Like I said, first we saw them just kind of inadvertently, and then after a couple of days, we went to rookeries where they were raising their young, and there were just staggering numbers of them. But then towards the end, we just, like I think the last day, our last expedition, we got in the Zodiacs and just drove around Devil's Island. And so there were icebergs just floating, and we'd see just 4 or 5 penguins
just chilling,
laying on an iceberg, or a lone seal lying on an iceberg. And they were just kind of chilling, and those were almost the coolest, just because they're in the water, we're in the water. And
it's so hard to think like, oh, like, see, like we were just on like a Zodiac boat. And we're driving by like a little ice shelf with just penguins that hop up on it. And then we just saw them jump right off of it.
And slide right off. Yeah.
So like it really,
you just got used to seeing them.
Oh yeah. It became so normal. Just even like as we were on the boat sailing, sorry, I'm trying to like figure out why this camera's not focusing. But it was just so. Oh, there
you're good.
Yeah,
it was just wild.
In and out of the water, just swimming.
Honestly, they felt like geese almost. Like they would swim with their head and like body above the water. You would just see them paddling, and then they would like dolphin mode. And it was just truly a magical trip.
Yep. Yeah. And then just on the way home, we ended up hanging out in Buenos Aires for a day. And that was, I would love to go back.
I would too. Oh my God.
Really,
I wish it was hard though, because like I was wanting to, like, I knew going into the trip that each end of Antarctica would have a day in Buenos Aires. And it was such a mindfuck to think that, like, this was my first time to South America as well. And so it was just such a mindfuck to think, like, Chris, Buenos Aires is in the trip. You don't need to get everything out of this city right now. Like, it was just so weird that, like, we were there, but it wasn't, like, the trip. It was just, like, a landing point.
And how different it was. It was so sensory. The music.
So warm.
The food, it was so...
It's like the nicest purgatory ever.
Yeah, it was just really, and it was
and
also
Miami
85.
Airport was the worst purgatory ever.
And it was 85, so we arrived from Ushuaia and
sweating my balls off.
Yeah, it's just.
Your timing was perfect too, though, because you came there right after they won the World Cup. Argentina won the World Cup, so the timing was awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God! Every Messi jersey was fucking sold out.
Yeah. Yep.
All my friends and family were like, "Get me a Messi jersey," and I'm like, "Bitch, the fuck."
You'd have a better chance bringing back a penguin.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
No, you can't touch the penguins, Jake.
Tons of artificial jerseys or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my God, we saw like crazy fossils on one landing spot.
Oh, yeah.
Like actual, not Mennonites. What is it called?
Meningitis.
Yeah.
It was like an Aphrodite. No, that's a goddess.
I'm not even gonna try.
An amorphite. An amalgamate.
Nope.
It's like a fossil, like those things that are like spirals.
I have a picture. A week ago, I would have remembered the name.
You Google it and I'll. Okay, if you're not watching this, I've definitely been polishing off a bottle of wine, so that is
very
your
heavy
wine glass
pours.
kept getting taller.
Oh, are you watching?
Could you see the wine? I thought the wine glass was out of topic.
Well,
but,
it looks like a normal glass
ammonoids,
now, but
Chris, like an ammonoid.
Yeah, maybe an ammonoid.
That's closer, but not exactly.
A hemorrhoid? What's a hemorrhoid?
It's an like an ammonoidia.
Oh, you're cheating. Jake's cheating.
I am not looking at Google.
Anyways, there was one place called Snow Hill where there was a hut where expeditionists literally were stranded for a long time, and that's where they brought fossils with them, and then I guess they left them there.
No, they found them.
Oh, I thought they brought them.
They didn't bring them. They
found
them.
But yeah, they had these fossils of like those animals that were like so prehistoric, like dinosaur vibes.
cool.
Jesus Christ. I went on a fucking cruise and I have nothing to come back with besides dinosaur vibes.
Yeah, the
Was there? Well, you said that when you were going out to the places, like the expeditions, they sometimes were picking places that that they were going along with the weather.
the last. Sorry, you finished. Sorry, I just got really excited.
Oh no, I was just curious, like if there was anything that stood out that it seemed like the people who worked there, it was even sort of new for them or anything.
Yeah, so the last landing spot the last day we got 3 expeditions in a day. So our last one was at like 9 p.m. So we ate dinner and then at like 9 p.m. This was probably the most moving part of the trip for me, just because it was the last night and I'm so sentimental and better with change, but not great. And like I didn't expect to meet so many great people on the cruise and to to experience the things that we did. Like
it was
it was so emotional. And so we went on to this last expedition it was
9:00 at night. We had our last dinner with everyone, and
not our last dinner, but our last dinner without Drake's Passage.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
So it felt like the last night, but it wasn't the last night. So yeah, it was 9:00. The sun was like a beautiful beginning, like golden hour essentially.
Yeah.
And they take us to this bay in the Weddell Sea that no one's been able to get to since 2016 because ice usually forms. So they have never even been on this landing either.
Whoa.
And the last people who were there were Chilean explorers.
Exhibitionists.
That's the word. Explorers. Yeah, like this. Hold on, let me lower your brightness so it looks better on. But this was the final landing site.
Gorgeous.
It's not doing
it just was like beautiful pink skies and like just it was so gorgeous. And so they have never even like they were like, it's lucky that we're even able to be here because this is usually filled with ice and impenetrable. Honestly, for a solid wine buzz, I'm killing it. No, but so they literally were like the last people to set foot here was in 2016, were the Chilean explorers who have like a little hut there. So just even like stuff like that was really wild to like process of holy shit, even you guys have like dreamed of coming here and you haven't. So that was like really emotional just because we landed and you get up and you go up this slight hill. And I mean, it's just the most indescribably beautiful scenery, like the most beautiful mountains and icebergs and colors in the sky and textures of the rock. And then you go up this little hill and you see a bunch of elephant seals on the beach and also in the water, which we had never seen. They'd always been on land. And so it honestly really reminded me of like a hippopotamus or something. Like when they were in the water, you just see like this fucking fat, shiny skin. But then we saw them like come onto land, go in the water. And it was just like, that's when like the silence really hit me of just like all of us being there and looking out and knowing it was the last night. I just like started bawling that like, I cannot believe that one, I got to go to Antarctica, but like I got to do it with my mom, and the fact that we both had our own nerves about the trip. And here we were on the last night after conquering it almost.
Well, and
it was the most, I couldn't have dreamed a more beautiful like ending to the trip. Mm-hmm. I mean, just I don't have the ability with words to describe this last landing site. And I need to take a drink of water because it sounds like I'm about to cry. My throat is just dry.
It's okay, Chris.
And again, just kind of the deprivation of like things that are normal to us. And then I don't think either of us ever thought about who else would be on the cruise or whatever, but we had fun. We had people we hung out with during the whole time.
I remember before, I'm like, Mom, we're not going to make friends. Like, we just are going to stick to ourselves. We don't need to do that, okay? Like, people are going to be weird. And like,
who made the most friends among my college friends? Chris. Chris is texting constantly. Oh, look at the pictures I got from this person. Oh, wow. And they say hi to your mom for us. And it's like, wait a minute. Who's
oh my God, I have so many adult friends now. I'm like, hey, welcome.
Chris is like, people, when I left, people were like, wow, it was so great. Chris was here. He's like our mascot. Wow,
one of the alums at the airport in Ushuaia when we were all saying, or in Buenos Aires when we were all saying goodbye to each other, she was like, you made this trip. And I was like, babe, we went to fucking Antarctica. I hope not. There's something about that last night and how, I mean, picturesque is like a fucking bullshit adjective for what that night was. But there was just something like, just this, honestly, the staff on the boat and the crew,
next level. I would book with them.
I enjoyed the most probably. Yep. Like we met great people, but I mean, I am so bad at remembering names, and I remembered Jason, Fritz, Mark, Arnold, Grace, Alan, Arlette, June. I mean, but it's these people made it.
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel! Oh my God! But it was just a full. Kadak. It was a full like
our vacation hero.
Yeah, it was just a full like moment where I just felt so much gratitude and like, how is this my like? I just remember so much stress when I was a kid and growing up and coming into adulthood of like, you know, I've got lofty goals, I've got dreams, I've got all these things, and it's like, how do I even begin to accomplish them? And then I'm standing. Was that the continent of Antarctica? I think that was. Yeah. That was the reason I went, was because it was the continent. Just to be standing on the continent of Antarctica at 29 with the last 2 weeks that we had, I couldn't help but feel so overwhelmed with just like thankfulness. Like holy shit, what a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I just get chills thinking about it.
And then that night,
like,
I guess, I don't know if they knew it was going to be a great sunset, but that was like a lot of our sunset photos were taken.
Well, the one I showed earlier at 11:38 was they had this little like.
So that's what I was going to say.
Departure drinks.
They had a big party on the aft deck, and we were still taking sunset photos at 11:30.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the party started till 11:30. This is a photo because I could not get over this whole sky.
1:48.
This was taken at 1:48. I was in bed by this point, but I could not believe that I could still get a photo like this in the middle of the night. Okay, I'm terrible. That's 1:48 a.m.
That's crazy.
I mean, I literally was in bed. I had gotten up. It's like, I can't go to bed. This is so amazing. And so I was laying out of bed going, because I wanted to document. This is 1:48. And it's still, technically, this is nighttime.
Is that like out your window or
that's off our balcony?
From bed, out our balcony.
Just imagining her in bed, like leaning.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
it happened.
An hour later was sunrise. So I mean, it just kind of, that night just kind of went on forever.
I didn't want it to end. I was like, I got so many flashbacks when I would go to summer camp and be like, will I ever see you again? And then I'm like, oh wait, we're adults. We have jobs and money and resources. Yeah, we can. Yeah. It was such a mind fuck, but it was just, I mean, I feel so lucky to have done this with you of all people. Me like too. Just to do it at all alone. Yeah. Like, but to do it with my mom really was so fucking cool.
We didn't really speak a lot of them except for maybe you the night before. But
we didn't speak a lot?
No, we didn't speak about our issues. But I mean, the night before you were like, I don't want to go. I'm really worried. The open sea, blah, blah, blah. But I think, so my mom's been really sick and I've had a ton of stuff going on. I didn't really give thought to any of this. I mean, I got the packing list. I packed. I went. It was very matter of fact for me. I was really excited.
What? I was the more emotional one? Who knew?
Well, I mean.
Chris got emotion sickness.
Yeah.
Oh, I really got emotion sickness.
No, I mean, I did. I think then you get.
Needs a patch for that.
There's a patch for that.
There should be. You get there and it's like, okay, wow, I hope I have the right clothes. I mean, I was so caught up in all that stuff. Like, will I be warm enough? Are my pants really waterproof? You know, boy, we ordered jackets. Are they the right sizes? Will they cover my head? Will my waterproof boots fit? I don't know. There were a lot of, for me, like logistical things like, oh my God, and these really big boots. How do we even get in a boat?
Come on, boots.
I know. But I don't know. I think
boots with the fur.
It was so nice to be away and just really living in that moment with no distractions.
Yeah, it really was crazy how present I felt.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You always hear so many people like, I felt present, but like I felt fucking Christmas morning present.
Yeah. I mean, the flip side of that is coming back is rough.
Coming back is really, really hard.
Really,
like,
really
I have
hard.
Like no motivation.
Well, just more like.
Well, it's like, I don't know. I just felt this shift of like, what the fuck is important? Like, is reaching new career goals and making a lot of money, like, is that what's important? Or like that level of like just presence? I don't know how else to describe it without it sounding so fucking LA bullshit, but like, just that
you're preaching to the choir.
No, but just like literally to be so present and like not be thinking like, oh, I need to check my phone. Like there literally was like by the third day I was like, this is obsolete. This is only a camera.
Yeah.
Literally. Like I was able to post on my like close friends and stuff. But other than that, it was like, that was how I communicated with people because that was like the only thing the Wi-Fi seemed to be able to upload.
I think because I am a to-do person, like, okay, I have this list and this is job and I need to pack this and whatever. That's what I've come back to. Like, okay, like I'm on a call this morning and like, okay, we have this urgent thing to do. And I'm like, I was in Antarctica.
I'm a penguin.
But it's just like, okay, and these people need to hear this by this day, and this is due in Great Britain on January 30th. And I'm like,
okay, bitch, whatever.
Really,
have you seen a chin strap though?
You know, in a deli penguin? Yeah, so just and like the whole food thing, like, wow, I'm hungry. And I'm like, do you have food?
I mean, obviously I didn't clap at people. I was very, oh my God, wait. Hold on, Mom. Talk. Fill the air.
Oh.
This is the actual flag. This is the flag that was on the front of our boat through the whole trip.
See what others don't is ominous.
No. Okay, whatever. Don't ruin my moment. They auctioned off at the end. They had an auction for the crew. Like any money that was raised went to every crew and whatever member. And obviously, being an alumni of the service industry, I couldn't even fucking imagine working on this boat. Just, it is 24/7. And so, do we want to guess? Do we want to guess how much I bought this flag for?
Oh, do you really want to
Is it signed by the crew?
It is signed by the crew and captain, and it literally flew through
trip.
Drake's Passage, went through Antarctica. Like,
that's so cool.
It has tattering from like the wind.
You just smelling it.
Nice.
So we all had to auction for it, and
It's priceless.
it feels priceless. Exactly, it wasn't at all, but it feels it. It was just really like, I
love the priorities that you both have. It kind of sets you in terms of feeling what the priorities are in life, and then the bonding the two of you had, out of this world.
Yeah, we needed to bond because we weren't very close.
we don't live like 20 houses apart or anything.
You guys hadn't met before the trip.
She's my birth mother. I just met actually in Antarctica. We found her on one of the landings and I brought her home. Can you believe?
Yeah, a couple of people were like, wow, that's really amazing. You two can travel.
Everyone told us that. And I was like, what kind of relationship do y'all have with your parents?
Yeah, but I mean.
That's projecting.
It was, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I feel lucky to be able to do this shit with you. Like, we've done such cool things together. And next, the Arctic.
Yeah, I'd like that to be next.
That would be cool.
Miles to go first. But
After this podcast, me and Sam are going to call our moms.
Oh, you should. Good moms are the best.
I'm going to be like, you never take me anywhere.
To be fair, I paid for my shit, okay?
You have to take your mom. That's what you have to take your mom.
I can flex on you guys. I'm going to take my mom to space.
You can have space. I have honestly, when I'm like, if I make it to 90, that's when I go to space. So yeah, that was our trip. Obviously, we're skipping over some stuff. Like, we saw some whales, we saw some seals, we saw some penguins. Is there anything that we're like really missing?
I had a couple questions.
Oh, hit us with the question.
I have two questions. One real question, one funny one.
Hit us.
So I know that you have a checklist of like visiting all 50 states, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many more continents do you have to go?
This is Justin. This is a bad question for me. So, I've actually spent a fair amount of time in South America. We've both been to Africa when his younger brother studied there. But I have both Australia and Asia left.
If you're going to go to Asia, go with Jake.
No, I want to... Wait. Oh my God. Asia's my last continent because I hit South America and Antarctica. The fact that I fucking have almost all 7 continents blows my mind.
Jake's been all over Asia, right? Or like...
Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake used to live in Asia.
Yeah, that and Australia are my two still.
I went on tour in Australia. Shout out Christine Tanavojo. Remember that fever dream, girls? Yeah.
Hey, we should go touring all continents is what we should do. We should do it.
Well, that's what I was telling my mom. I was like, we'll be back in Buenos Aires when I'm doing a comedy tour.
So I'm not sure I know how to say this. Montevideo or Montevideo?
It's Montevideo.
Vito. I think it's spelled E-L though. I was Googling it. Anyway, I'm going to retire to Uruguay. When we were in Buenos Aires, we took...
That's really far. I'll never visit you.
Sorry, but I didn't really know anything about Uruguay, but this lady was telling us about it, and I've since looked it up. It's like, oh my God, I think I'm going to move there. It looks really nice.
Crazy.
Or maybe I'll at least visit it first. But anyway.
Yeah, that might be a good start.
Okay, second question. Did you test out the waterproof pants?
We did. They were every time we got at a landing, we basically had to walk in water. And so they gave us like knee-high boots.
They showed us how to swing out of the Zodiac. You swing your legs back towards the back.
I know how to swing my legs back.
Swing them out, and we had to wade into the island in water.
Both of us know how to swing our legs back. Any applications?
Ew. Okay, next.
Okay, well.
Yeah, they're waterproof.
They really worked. They gave us a waterproof jacket and backpack too, which I don't know why I'm just so amazed by waterproof material, but I'm like, wow, it's really waterproof.
So my only pet peeve of the trip was, so we'd come back and we'd have these multiple expeditions a day. Oh my God, why do you...
Look at these. Okay, so when we got to the boat...
that was for... You got that on Antarctica?
I got this at the Antarctica gift shop. There's only one.
That's what the snowflakes look like?
We got to the boat to... No, I already told them I took it.
You did?
No, but... I took... No.
Does Elsa know you have that? No.
So, when we got on the boat, they had like Christmas trees and stuff through various things.
It felt like we were on below deck, but above deck when we got on the.
It was really
like come out of the elevator and there's just a ton of champagne and Christmas trees.
And so they had these Christmas trees, and when we went to check in, we had to stand by this one, and it had this beautiful ornament. And I was like, you know what? I'm like a materialistic, sentimental person where I love a good object that like I can open the file in my brain that has all of the info from that, like what that object represents.
That's a trigger of memories. Yeah.
So they had these Christmas trees, and I saw these snowflake ornaments on them, and I was like, that is literally fucking gorgeous. So they were zip tied onto the tree, obviously, because the boat rocks. And so I took my cuticle cutters with me in my pocket, and one night after enough open bar courage,
you snipped.
I just snipped two of them. And so my mom and I each have these little, they ended up, if you asked, giving them to people. So like I could have asked, but I would have rather taken it and then been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Than ask and then be told no and still know that I'm going to take it. So anyways, so my mom and I took one for each of us, and we have these little ornaments for our Christmas tree to remember.
In case anyone from the boat is listening, technically mine isn't in my house yet. It's still at Chris's.
Okay, by the time you see this, it will be in her house. See, she took it.
Is it glass or
no? It's like a weird acrylic that they put over wires. I don't know. Okay. It is. I'm so obsessed with this. Anyways, that was one of the fun little. I don't know how I got onto that. I just remembered it was behind me.
Oh, klepto moment.
Can you stick that on top of the Christmas tree, like at the very top?
Oh my God, a Christmas tree topper! Mom, we have to. Let's engineer it, girl. We got 362 days or
really
whatever.
Colorful one last
322 or however many days are left till Christmas.
Yep.
You know, some white Disney adults counting down. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah. How is it? How nice is it to finally see land?
It was weird, honestly.
No. Samantha Land.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Well, I can't even fucking see her because the way Riverside.
I haven't seen you all night yet.
Yeah, you literally. No, because we have our screen to make sure.
A disembodied voice.
Well, the way that this works is like we can only have one widescreen, and so I'm making sure that my mom and I are still in frame. So
because I don't know why I keep leaning this way. So.
He pushed me.
We don't condone that, Justin. You're canned.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Anyways, so that was our trip to Antarctica.
You'll have a good time editing this down.
Poor Justin.
That's all I can think about.
No, I'm leaving it long. It's all going in.
Is there any other questions y'all have?
I'm just so happy that you had a blast. And I think Sam, Justin, and I need to go to Antarctica.
Wait, can we do an Unhinged cruise episode where each day we do a debrief?
Oh yeah.
I feel like we should just send this to that whoever ran the cruise and be like, sponsor this podcast.
And be like, literally, we will sponsor the fuck, or we will, I don't know how this situation works. I've had so much wine, I feel like I'm back on the boat. I'm like, let's go out onto the deck. Woo! But yeah, that was our trip to Antarctica. And there will be more, holes filled in photo dumps and vlogs, like I said. But this was just kind of our fun little story time. We went to Antarctica together.
That's cool too. I'm glad that we did this 48 hours after you got back, because now this video for you guys will be kind of a time capsule type thing.
It's a little time capsule. And that's the thing. There was a videographer and photographer on the boat, and he captured the most insane shit. God bless Ralphie.
Well, and he had a drone. So
Well, I saw the drone and I was like, okay, well, whatever. Like, he bought a drone once and is like,
But
he showed us the video at the end of the week, and I was like, bitch, give him the Oscar!
Yeah. And you put the soaring music with it.
Oh my God. I mean, the way he...
Like,
yeah, literally, I was like, look at the whale! Like, he had a whale tail jumping out of the ocean as the music hit a crescendo. It was like, zoom!
And then he'd have like a little penguin.
Did they do like a video recap of the trip?
Yeah. Oh, girl, they did a video recap.
And I
they
thought
better
it'd be
have.
cheesy, like with everyone in the Zodiacs.
Yeah.
Whatever, but it was really classy.
Oh my God, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Do you have any video footage of Russian Gaga?
Oh my God, do I have Russian video? Her name is Simona. She was on a Russian version of like American Idol, The Voice, etc.
Is she still on?
Hi, Booger! Oh my God, I missed Booger so much, and now she's been acting so weird. She's like, I thought you gave me up. Honestly, this is probably the longest time I've been without her. Although now she's like rubbing her eyes on my
She
leg.
thought you adopted an elephant seal instead of her.
Yeah, she really like. Oh my God, Booger. Anyways, the Russian Lady Gaga. She did 2 more sets. And she sang for like an hour and 15 minutes each time without any breaks. And let me tell you, she fucking slayed.
Yeah,
she brought the most unreal outfits. She wore a whole metallic trench coat and metallic stiletto boots that were knee high. Like, she was everything and more. Oh my God. I requested Bad Romance and she sang it on her last set. And I was like, ah!
With the night she walked in, I mean, no one knew who she was, and she walks out, and we're like, is it
Lady?
Is it?
I did text my extended family group chat. That's like me, my mom, my brothers, and their partners. And I was like, oh my! In all caps, I was like, because they were sending me like basketball game photos that they went to, and so I was like, well, I gotta one up these bitches. I could have just literally sent a picture of a penguin, but instead I was like, oh my God, they brought Lady Gaga onto the cruise in all caps, and my brother's fiance goes, what? OMFG, what? Wait. And then I send like a blurry picture of her and she looks like Lady Gaga.
But even in a non-blurry picture, it's still...
No, even like up close, I was like...
Like even at the end of the cruise when we're in the airport...
Are you 5'2" on Netflix, bitch?
Well, we're in the airport in Buenos Aires and we're all partying and I'm just getting one last look at her like...
5'2".
That is pretty amazing.
I thought you said 4, sorry.
Oh, no. Here, let me see if I can find a quick pic of Miss Gaga. I did take a picture of the top of her head because on her last performance, she wore a bunch of bobby pin or like hair clips. So that's the top of her head.
Whoa.
That's heinous. What is that?
That's like all of her hair clips.
Oh.
Mom, do not hate on my, like, look at her. She is a star. Like, she is a fucking star.
But her voice was
sounds.
amazing.
Oh my God, her voice was dumb good.
If you have her social, maybe we could put it in the description.
We
box.
could find her. Well, no, we're gonna get her on the damn podcast. She barely spoke English, so never mind. We probably won't. But oh my God, Simona.
Did she really not speak?
Yeah, no, she was like, I was like, can you? I was talking to her like a mile a minute, and she's like,
so
little bitch, shut the fuck up.
The phonetics of the songs.
Maybe I really don't know, but she was phenomenal. I can't believe we're ending this episode talking about Lady Gaga from Russia, but
that's what a fitting end.
Yeah, no, this was the most unhinged. We really put the unhinged in Unhinged with Chris Klemens today.
We did.
Are there any other questions, class? No? All right, we'll end class early, guys, because I'm a fun teacher. I hope you guys enjoyed this extra long episode of Unhinged with Chris Klemens. I know, Justin, you are looking with the face of I want to die because you have to edit this, but I would always, as always, take 2. As always, I would like to thank Justin, Jake, and Sam for keeping this goddamn ship afloat. No pun intended. And
the ship's like this.
Jake always the ship is exactly like Drake's Passage 100%. I'd like to thank my mommy for coming on.
I'd like to thank that empty bottle of wine for making you happier than when you started.
All right, literally.
You were super duper crabby. I was
super duper crabby because
do the podcast 50-50.
Mom, fuck you for that because I had to set up 3 different microphones to get a working audio input source. And this whole self-production shit is not easy. You wouldn't last a day.
We love you, Mama Klemens. Thank you.
You're the best podcast guest.
We love you, Mom. Thanks so much for coming on my podcast.
I wish you all did this in person and I could be there. Like the old days.
Guys, I really hate this fucking podcast not being in person, and I have to say that out loud. So we're either going to have to clone you or
Or you just go out there like for bits. Like twice a month or something.
And we'll come to Delaware.
There you go.
Yeah, like if we could have a budget to have you guys flown out here, I would totally dedicate a room here as a podcast studio. I really would.
With bunk beds for me and Sam?
No, I don't want a bunk bed.
I don't know about bunk. Oh, yeah, I'll give you guys bunk beds. That'd be cute. That's like fun as fuck.
No.
Top bunk.
We did that on your birthday.
You guys did!
I had to be on the top bunk, and he kicked me all night and did all kinds of weird things.
When you guys gave me the potato baby.
I did kick her.
From the bottom.
Guys, I have the potato baby upstairs still.
I'm so glad you still have it.
That thing's sick, actually.
I love that bit.
That's one of those. Do you ever get a gift for someone and you're like, fuck?
You're like, this could go really either way.
No. Where you're like, you give it to them and you're like, fuck. I wanted it.
Oh my God, no. Potato baby. Oh, should we do Sisterhood of the Traveling Potato Baby?
No, it's perfect.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of Unhinged with Chris Klemens. Be sure to subscribe to Unhinged with Chris Klemens wherever you get your podcast. And if you like video episodes, we put them up on youtube.com/Chris. Be on the lookout for my Antarctica vlog, as well as photo dumps and maybe video dumps on Patreon as well. And rate and review wherever you get your podcast / on Apple Podcasts. I don't know. I'm starting to overheat from the literal 3/4 a bottle of wine that I drank. So to all a good night, and to good night all.
Adieu.
Scene.
Hasta luego.